Hello and welcome to another episode of the Opus Well Style podcast. My name is Ivan Watanabe here with my partner Evan Wall. Evan, what's going on, man? Good morning.
Good morning. We got 4 days left.
I know.
It's a big weekend for us.
Home stretch for High Rocks, New York, for those who know. So Evan and I are both racing. We've got different races going on. Evan's going to run his first singles race, and I'm running a race with my wife, which will be a whole other challenge. So we'll see how this goes.
Test of communication.
Oh my goodness. Well, we'll see how that goes, but I'm super excited. But on today, we've got friend of the podcast and client of the firm and friend overall, Synthia Link, the owner of Lifestyle Makeover Foundations. How are you, Synthia? What's going on?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And again, as Evan mentioned before, love the background, the pillows there and the guitars. It's a sick setup.
We're a whole vibe over here. I'm in my husband's office because it's just way cooler than mine.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
We do what we can.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for coming on. You know, you and I have had conversations over the last few weeks just on your social media presence, the business, kind of what's going, what you've been up to there. So would love for you to just kind of tell us a little bit about you and, and sort of what you've created so far.
Yeah. I mean, are we going back or are we just going about the business?
Let's
okay.
Let's go back.
Let's go back.
Yeah, let's hear it
way back.
All right. Listen, I'm an open book. Okay. So grew up on Long Island. For as long as I can remember, all I wanted to do was be on Broadway and a Radio City Rockette. If you asked me when I was like 3 years old, I was going to tell you that I was going to be on Broadway. Worked my butt off, went to school for musical theater against everybody's better judgment. Got told a lot of times that you should not go to school for musical theater. Didn't listen to anybody, which is a problem of mine, I suppose. But I went and I did it. I got my first job as a Radio City Rockette when I was 20 years old. So I took a semester off of college, went and did that job, came back, graduated early. So you can do it if you really want. I was a Radio City Rockette for 5 seasons on and off. I toured nationally with them and did New York for 4 seasons. Got to do some really, really cool stuff, appearances, got to meet a lot of really cool celebrities. My face was like plastered on billboards and
How cool
it was weird and cool. Like you went to a Chase ATM, like I was there welcoming you. It was like a lot of really cool, surreal stuff. And then since that was a seasonal job, I also made it to Broadway. So I did 5 Broadway shows, originated some original Broadway casts, took them out of town, came back, did the Broadway versions. I was an understudy, ensemble member oftentimes. And so I got to play some really cool roles and got to sing on stage by myself, which was always like, the goal. Really, really, really cool, glamorous story, if you will. Then I got to an age where I was getting injured. Not age, I mean, I was like 30 years old, but it's when you look at like professional dancers, professional athletes and stuff, there is a time limit on that. I had knee surgery. I tore my wrist and my meniscus and all sorts of things. And I just got to this point where I was like, my husband and I wanted to have a family. Eventually, that job is really hard. You're doing 8 shows a week. You work on weekends and holidays when everybody else in the world is off is when your busy time is. Like the Radio City Rockettes perform on Christmas and 4 shows on Thanksgiving. Like you don't get a day off. And I just knew that wasn't what I wanted for my family. And during the process, one of the cool things that the Rockettes did was they gave us money to go back to school for something other than dance or theater. And so I decided to go back for nutrition. I was always really interested in nutrition. I had a very complicated relationship with my body and nutrition, as many of us ladies and men honestly did growing up in the 90s and 2000s, And so I went back to school, learned about nutrition, and sort of took clients on the side. I would work with them on weight loss and health and inflammation and just kind of like creating a healthy relationship with your body and understanding how it works at a functional level. So many women know how to diet, count their calories and their macros, beat themselves up, overdo it, and always feel stuck and sort of yo-yoing starting again on Monday. Anyway, pandemic hit, no jobs for actors. And so I decided to lean into this. And it sort of happened on accident. I have no idea how to run a business. I didn't know what I was doing. But during the pandemic, a lot of people were struggling with their weight and fitness and stuff. And so I sort of accidentally started teaching fitness classes online, a lot to the Broadway community. And so there was like 100 people who would come to my online fitness classes,
Wow.
which was super fun. Yeah, it was really cool. And then I decided, a friend of mine was like, you should charge for these things. And so I started charging like $10 a month to come to my classes or whatever. And it started gaining a following. A couple of people were like, hey, I remember that you used to do nutrition. Can you take me on as a client? I'm struggling. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then friends told friends told friends. All of a sudden I had like 10 or so nutrition clients. And I realized that that was actually my passion. And I really wanted to help people. And so it was all on accident. It just was sort of started to be word of mouth. And then I realized that if I started talking about it on Instagram, people would actually know what I did. And so I started organically driving clientele in that way. And then I realized that I could reach more people by having a group program. And so against my better judgment, because I was terrified, I hired a business coach. She helped me set up a whole back end with a program and resources and sort of a funnel, if you will, of how to get clients. Anyway, fast forward, I've worked with a handful of business coaches since then. So currently my program, Lifestyle Makeover Foundations, has been around since 2022 more formally. Since then, we've worked with over 800 women. I have 12 people working for me now. We currently have 200 active women in the program. And it's sort of, I had to really quickly learn how to be a CEO and not just a nutritionist, which has been a whole learning experience, but it's honestly been the biggest gift to me and my family. So that's my long-winded version of
Congratulations. That's awesome.
What a very cool track. I mean, I think there's been so many positive things I think that have come out of, COVID, and obviously this being one of them. And, obviously meeting the needs of so many. When you started the classes and doing them in the group format, were you doing them on like Zoom or was it like
you guys?
Like, how was it?
I was like, how can I I thought like FaceTime. I didn't know. And I found this thing called Zoom and it was like so cool. And then I just like YouTubed, like at that time I actually had sound equipment and I was like, how do I like put the sound through? And so everything was just like YouTubed and I hosted classes on Zoom. And then I found a platform where I could like host the recordings so that people could watch the recordings and then do the recordings. And so I have all those stored as well. And so I actually still offer them in my program as a workout resource for people.
So you didn't, at the beginning stages, it wasn't like, I'm going to go leave my secure job and start this. It was like, there's nothing, the boats were already burned and like there's 100%. Nothing else.
I just didn't know what else I wanted to do. Like, again, like my whole identity was wrapped up in being a performer. And I'm sure if anybody is listening to this and had a lifelong dream and you pursue it, it just becomes who you are. I was Synthia the Rockette. I was Synthia, the Broadway performer. And I didn't know who else to be. And when COVID hit and that wasn't available anymore, I sort of realized that I had to pivot really quickly, not just for like financial security, but I needed something to do with myself. I had just had a baby. So my daughter, she was born in 2021. I knew I wanted to create some financial freedom for her. I wanted to contribute. I just didn't know what else to do. And it just kept pulling me, and I think that when something starts to knock on your door, you should listen, and sometimes really beautiful things come out of it. So
for sure.
Were you big on social media before the business?
No, not at all. I didn't even know. I joke like I just turned 40, so I always joke like I don't know how to use social media. Like I had no idea what I was doing. And I think that's probably a good thing because I was really open to learning and hearing from people who knew a little bit better than me because I had no backbone. I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't know what was going to hit on social media. I just had to do it on the fly, which I'm, always doing.
It's funny because I think, a lot of people I hear these days, they have an idea, they want to pursue this thing, but they're so scared of failing before they even try. So I'm curious if you've always been that way of like, hey, I'm going to, clearly, I'm going to take on this goal of being the Rockettes. I'm not going to listen to anybody. Is that sort of just built in you, or do you feel like, you sort of had to overcome some self-talk, or what was it like when you were starting the business?
I'll be completely honest. I'm still trying to overcome that. I mean, there's a lot of imposter syndrome. There is a lot of fear. We had our best month 2 months ago, followed by like a harder month. And that's hard as a business owner, as somebody who's trying to pursue things. It's not linear. And I think it's important to remember that, like, quite honestly, nothing worth pursuing in life is linear, whether it's a weight loss journey, whether it's a career journey. It's up, down, and all around. And if it were easy, everybody would do it. And so I think the fear of failure, somebody very wise once told me, this is sort of aside, when I was trying to pursue Broadway and I hadn't yet gotten there, a very prominent director, she said, whether or not you think you can, you're right. And the only way that you fail is if you don't do it. You can guarantee that you will not get there if you don't pursue it. There is 100 chances that, things will get in your way and you'll get deterred. But if you decide that you're not going to, then you're not going to. And that's up to you. And so every single day you have to choose it, no matter what, whatever it is. And I think that that's hard. And I think that I also dealt with a lot of rejection on Broadway. I mean, the amount of times I got told no, the amount of times I got so close to a Broadway show and really was so sure I was going to get it and then got a call that they were going another direction. Like, that's heartbreaking. So I'm okay with that. Like, I know what that looks like. And I also know what it looks like to get back up and to go a different direction. And your thing will come if you keep going.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that's particularly important as a business owner, right? Just making sure that you have that sort of thick skin for all the opportunities, all those no's that kind of come your way.
It's so
because
hard.
as you said, it is definitely not linear. Have you leaned on other
overnight.
coaches, or other sort of business owners in your process?
Yeah, a lot. So like I said, I currently have a business coach. I've been with her for like 2 years now. But I think having a community is really important. I mean, I talk to friends, I can talk to like other friends, I can talk to my husband, but they don't get it as much. I think that, it's having other friends who are also business owners who are going through similar things is important. Masterminds are important. Having conversations with people who are like, what's working for you? What's hitting for you? Especially in your niche, is really important. And so I've created some amazing friendships, all of which I have never been in the same room with these people, which is really cool, simply because of what we're doing and trying to pursue. Yeah.
Is it in the nutrition and fitness space, are your peers or the people you're chatting with, are they generally pretty open and sharing what they're up to and in social media, or are they a little bit guarded and they kind of don't want to give away the secret? How do you find the industry to be?
Honestly, pretty open. I mean, a lot of the women and men that I connect with are also in the same business coaching programs. Okay. And so we're sort of being given similar formats. And even within one niche, like I work with weight loss, inflammation, and I only work with women over 30. So sorry, guys, I can't work with you. But, I have friends who work in type 1 diabetes. I have friends who work in, who have faith-based weight loss programs. Like there's a niche for everything, right? So everyone's kind of targeting different people, and everyone's not your person. But if we can help each other, I think that's a really beautiful thing. Yeah. I'm always open to giving what's working for me, but also just remembering in business, as in weight and nutrition and all that, like what works for me, it might not work for you. So
as you think about the different levels or journey throughout growing the business, working with all the different business coaches and learning from other entrepreneurs, can you think of, top 1, 2, or 3 things that you implemented into your business that really took things to the next level?
Yeah. A really clear message, who you help, know who you help, how you help them. The more complicated, the more broad you are, actually, the more confusing it is for people to know what you do. Mm-hmm. The second thing is just have one clear offer. I used to have like this offer and a downsell and an upsell and a thing, and like nobody knew what I was selling. And so now I offer one thing. You can buy one thing. It is all the same price. It is investment. And that's what it is. There is no confusion there. Right. And then the last thing is paid ads. Instagram ads have really changed my life.
Really?
They're oh my God. We had like a 500% return on investment in 1 month on just ads. Yeah, they're incredible. They are expensive. You are paying for it. There is no real rhyme or reason to them sometimes. I mean, there is some sort of it's the algorithm, so you don't always know what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And some ads really hit and some ads tank. And you just have to keep testing and sort of throwing money. And that's where my financial investment goes into my team and into paid ads. And it's really hit or miss, but you got to take that chance. That is how I scaled my business, from like $15,000 months, I guess, from like, that was like all organic reach to like 180,000
Amazing.
in a month.
You said that was all Instagram ads, not Facebook or Google?
I don't do, another really good one is stick to one. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on Google. I'm not on Facebook. My demographic hangs out on Instagram. I work with women over usually 30 to 55-ish. They're on Instagram. Women over that are on Facebook. You got to know where your clientele is hanging out. Like your clients might hang out on Google, on YouTube, and that's where you would want to do ads. You even can run ads to like WhatsApp now.
Yeah.
But my people hang out on Instagram, and that's where I advertise.
And talk a little bit about Instagram, sort of, the content that you're putting out there. So you and I are connected on Instagram. Love the content. Even as a male, like I found it to be very transparent, as you are, like very transparent, just somebody to have a conversation with. And it is very, the magic behind it is it's, as I consume it, it's just very giving, right? So it's not like an ask from you. It is very much like, hey, let me put out as much content as I can, and hopefully I can help somebody. And that's what it comes across as. So, is that the intent behind it? Is it something different?
It is. No, it is the intent. So with my content, I try to give people a snippet of what it would feel to work with me. How I talk, I try to be really authentic. I try to also keep it real. I think this is something I say a lot, but like, you got to put your big girl pants on and do it. So I try to be pretty transparent in how I talk to people, because I do think that people, especially women, want to feel seen and heard, right? So if I'm talking to someone and I'm calling out their quote unquote pain point, it's authentic. I'm calling them out because this is who I work with. But they're like, wow, she gets it. So my whole my whole goal is to be relatable. I want people to feel like they know me, and something that we actually hear oftentimes on sales calls is, I felt like she was talking to me. And I do think that a lot of my communication skills came from being an actor. I can communicate if I know what I'm trying to get across and an emotion that I'm trying to evoke, because people buy an emotion. They're not buying a product. They're buying an outcome, right? They're buying how they feel. And so if I can make somebody feel that way, feel seen and heard and understood, and they should, like, that's not fake. They should feel those ways. If I can do that through a 10 second, 15 second Instagram reel, then they come into my DMs and we're having a conversation with them and we're continuing that feeling. Then they get on a call and they're already sold because of the experience that they had, because they feel like they know me already. And so that's the whole thing with content. But I also think that you got to be honest. Like, you can't just people please. Like, sometimes you got to be a little polarizing, and that's got to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any things, so right now, are you managing the Instagram yourself? How are you?
I am.
How are you? You're coming up with the ideas. You're recording it. You're sort of putting it out there. It's all you at this point. It's all me. I want it to be all me. I've had friends who have hired, people to manage their Instagram, and they lose their voice. I think that a really, really important aspect to this whole Instagram social media marketing thing is you can't lose your voice, because people are buying you. That is what they are buying. They want to know you. They want to understand you. People sometimes say, oh, you don't have to put your face on your Instagram. Yeah, you do. They need to see your face. They need to know who you are. Then you're just a series of words, and that's meaningless, right? And so I do all of my social media. I mean, it's not perfect, and it's definitely not like, it'll be like a 10-second clip of me like eating a salad or whatever and just like words over it, but it works, and I just hit, I think 12, almost 13,000 followers. But for a really long time, I only was at like 3,000 or 4,000, and I was still making at least 50K a month. So your Instagram following actually means nothing.
How long were you at
more along the
that
lines
level
of the engagement
of following?
How long was I at that level of following?
Yeah.
Like 5 years. Like I
5
just
years.
started. Yeah.
And
Like I
just
would
kept
say in the
grinding.
last, yes, I would say in the last like 3 months is when my following started really picking up. And little secret for anybody who is trying to grow a following, if you boosted posts on Instagram, which are different than reels, a boosted Instagram reel, you can set it so that they are incentivized to follow you. And so that's a really great way to have specific posts hit, and people will find them because they're boosted, and then they'll follow you. And that's been a really great way for me to grow my following in a way that's actually targeted, because everyone who's following me is a good lead. Like people have 20,000 followers, but if they're not going to buy from you, then what's the point? They're not good. It's a number. But if I have 3,000 followers that are engaged, that love my content, that want to buy from me, then I have 3,000 people that could potentially become clients. So it's about quality over quantity, truly.
Yeah. How big do you sort of envision, or would you like the organization, the business to get, right? Is it sort of, is there a too big? Is there a too, is there a, maybe we're growing somebody else and building somebody else's person? Like, what does it look like? Or where would you like to go?
If you had asked me this a year ago, I would have said, I just want to hit my first 100K month. Like, that's all I want. Actually, it was just, I just want to hit 50K. I want to like sustain at 50K. And then it turned to, I want to hit 100K. And now we're sort of dancing around like that, like a low month for us would be 100K, but the overhead is high. So there's a lot of stress of, I have to pay my coaches, I have to pay my sales reps, I have to pay my setters, I have to pay my business operations manager. So my overhead is higher. So when you have a lower income, right, you're paying less people to do the jobs. So you have a lower overhead. I think I'm actually more stressed out lately about sustaining that seemingly higher number, because it's just me. Like realistically, like I do have a team of people helping me, but the business either grows or fails because of me. And that's a lot of pressure, like a lot of pressure.
So if you go on vacation, like that's a problem?
No, it would have been a year ago. Every single decision I have made in the last year has been, if I do this, can I get closer to a vacation? Because I had 2 babies and was on my computer right after delivery, working. Like, trust, like women are insane and incredible species. I haven't taken a vacation since 2018.
We're working on this.
We're working on it.
We're working on these in our conversations all the time.
And that's not a brag. Like, that's not good. That's not healthy. But I was working in my business and not on my business. So I'm currently very close to hiring the last 2 people to be able to like peace out and sort of have it run itself.
Yvonne, did you send her Who Not How?
I have.
It's a good book. If you haven't read it yet, you should.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
We're getting there.
It's. Are there any things that you learned from your Instagram journey or through your social media that you wish you had done differently?
That's a really interesting question. Not really on social media. Because I feel like the one thing I have been really dedicated to is just being authentic. And I'll be completely honest with you, like, I don't really give it much thought. Like, however I'm feeling in the moment is what I'm going to post. I'm not afraid to post. I'm not afraid to, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just sort of like, I think when you get an inspiration to post something, you post it. I also have gone weeks without posting anything because I'm burnt out. And that's got to be okay too. I think the one thing that I wish I had done sooner was hire a business coach to help me. I think for so long I was like, I can do this on my own. I know I can piece together free things, and like, you fully can't. Like, if you're somebody who wants to start a business, hire somebody to help you. Like today to yesterday, because that is how you're going to get from like a fun side hustle to like an actual income where you're like supporting your family. Like, that's what it is.
Is the Instagram strategy, is there anything more than post and pay for ads? Like, is it commenting on specific people and DMs, et cetera? It's just those 2 things.
It's literally those 2 things. Post authentically. I try to post 5 days a week. I take the weekends off because I'm a human being. Engage with people who are engaging with you. So make sure that you're reaching out to anybody who follows you, anybody who comments on your stuff. They're engaging with you. So you want to engage back with them. They're a potential client. and the paid ads. Paid ads will change your life if you know how to do them. And it really is about figuring out what's going to hit for you. It's about finding audiences. It's, I mean, it's not simple. It's not easy. It's actually really hard. But once you get that running, then you double down. So it's like you start an ad at like $30 a day, and then all of a sudden it's working and hitting, and like you've closed people from it. And so you start doubling down. Like right now, my highest ad, it's like $400 a day, but it's bringing in more than quadruple that, so it's worth it for me to spend that.
Yeah, definitely an investment, right? Not an expense.
No, it is an investment, but you get there slowly. So like a year ago, I was spending like $500 a month on ads, and that freaked me out because I was like, oh my God, I don't know if it's going to work. But then you see it and you learn it and you get it. And then all of a sudden you're like, I want to spend more because that means I'm making more.
Yeah. I mean, the one common thread across any successful business owners that we see is exactly what you're telling us, which is like, have a good pulse on the business, understand what's going on, don't be afraid to try new things. And when those things are hitting, like double down on that idea, right?
And
double
it's
down on that
different
investment.
For everybody. Yeah.
Right.
But you gotta like pay to play. You do. And the only way to be able to pay to play is to get there. And so, and this goes for people who are like considering doing my program or considering anything, is you have to invest in yourself. Like if you're afraid, if you want people to invest in you, if you have a program or you have a business idea, that business is a business because people are paying you, right? So if you want people to pay you or to invest in you and your ideas and your programs, then you have to invest in yourself. You can't sit there and say, I'm not going to do it for myself and expect other people to do it, if that makes sense. And so you have to, like, you don't sit on your hands and be like, well, what if it doesn't work? But what if it does? And I think that that's the piece that actually, it's like you have to be almost delusional. And I think that's the piece that's actually propelled me in all of the industries that I've been in, because I've been in a lot of industries that a lot of people say, that's not going to happen. Like you can't be successful there, or only 1% of people are successful there. And this is not to be cocky, but I was successful there. And I think it's because I was like, I'm doing this no matter what. So either like come along with me or don't, but I will get there. And you just have to keep going. You just have to double down. You have to invest in yourself. You have to say, I can do it.
Yeah, that burn the bridge mentality for sure is 100%. The burn the boat mentality is 100%. I think
there's
bridge
no
can work too.
safety. Yeah. There's no safety in any of this. Like if you want to build a business, it is scary. It is scary, but like it could be so cool and so rewarding. You just got to do it.
It's going to be even more rewarding when you go on that vacation.
Oh my gosh, I cannot.
Where are you
wait.
going? Where are you going?
I have a business, an Amex business card, and it's all travel points. I think I can go on a vacation for free at this point. So we're gonna check it out. I would love to not bring my kids. I love my children, but I feel like I need.
You don't have to convince us.
Yeah, I need 4 days of just
treat yourself.
I don't know yet.
All right,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
and
put it on the vision board.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, you and me both.
Aside, what have been one of the sort of ancillary benefits or things that you didn't really expect to get out of the business that you've received so far? Is it anything family-wise or professionally, like, anything that's sort of been a pleasant surprise for that?
I created a career out of nothing. I think that's really cool. Mm-hmm. My husband says this all the time. My husband's a lawyer, so he had a very clear trajectory of like, you go to law school, you get a job, you be a lawyer, you keep being a lawyer. And that's amazing. He worked his butt off in law school. Like, he's incredible. He's an incredible human. But he was like, you created something out of nothing. And now it not only sustains you, but like, I'm the breadwinner. Like, it not only like has grown into something, but like, I make my own hours. I'm able to pick my kids up from school. I'm taking off on Thursday because of preschool graduation. Like, I can do those things. I can't go on a vacation yet, but like I can do those things, right? So it's given me the freedom to be the mom and wife I want to be and the human that I want to be. And also, there's no cap to what I can make. I just have to do it right. So like I could sustain it where I am at, and like I've definitely considered that because it would be less stressful. or I can keep growing, and I just have to keep scaling. And I get to choose that. Like, if you have a 9 to 5, then you're making what that person tells you. Like, I don't have a boss. I'm the boss.
Yeah. Living the life that you want is more valuable than any money, any revenue that you might be making from the business.
100%. Because what is life with, like, what are we doing it for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it shown up for the kids? Do they even sort of understand how cool it is that you've created this thing? Do they even like, you know, I know that they're little, but did they have any idea?
Yeah. You know, Sienna, she's 5. And if you asked her what mommy does, she'll say, my mommy helps women. And that's like literally all I need her to know.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that? Like, my daughter sees it. She also has an incredible relationship with food. I did not. I struggled with my body my whole life. Like, this is a whole other podcast conversation, but you know, being a Radio City Rocket and on Broadway, there were like impossible body standards, and that's a lot of the reason why I created my program. My daughter will not have those. She has an incredible relationship with her body. If you ask her what a protein, fiber, and a fat is, she'll give you 10 examples of each. Like, she knows what this is, and she knows she gets it. And I think that that's also something really cool. My son is too. He's just, you know, starting to talk. So, you know, but yeah, and she'll grow up understanding that. And I think that's important.
That's a beautiful thing for sure.
It really is.
Absolutely. Well, listen, you've been super generous with your time and super candid, and I really, really appreciate it,
I love this. This
as
is super
always. As we kind of wrap up, like, is there any one thing that you want to make sure that the listening audience kind of takes away? Anything in particular that, whether it's, you know, nutrition related, business related, anything that you want to kind of, you know, leave them with?
Yeah. I think if you have an idea and it feels crazy and it feels scary, you gotta like see it through, or else it's just going to be an idea. It's never going to be tangible. And the other thing I want everybody to remember, if you're on a weight loss journey, if you're in a business journey, if you're trying to be a parent, like whatever it is, the key to all of it, to anything, if you want to be on Broadway, it is consistency over time. It is showing up daily, whether you want to or not, when it's hard, when it's easy, when it's fun, when it's not, when you're tired, whatever the case may be. It is consistency over time in everything, and nobody is the exception to the rule. Literally nobody. And if you create consistency over time and you keep showing up and you keep doing the thing and you keep taking chances on yourself and you keep that discipline, you will eventually get there. And the only way that you do not is if you say, I'm done. It's in your power. You have so much more power than you think. And I think that's really powerful.
Love that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
No surprise that you have as much success as you have.
I know. I love it.
You.
I love it. Now, for the business portion of this, where can they find you? Where can they connect with you? Where can they find out more about the program? Where can they sign up? Tell the audience a little bit about that.
Yeah. The best place is my social media, my Instagram. It's at Synthia Link. My parents were really fun and they spelled my name with an S. So it's SYNTHIA, Link, LINK. Everything's on social media. I have a very like piecemeal website. But people don't buy from a website. They buy from a human being. So everything's on my social media there.
Awesome. Well, listen, thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it, and the candor and everything you created. So we'll definitely have to do this again sometime soon.
Would love to. Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Absolutely. And to you, the listening audience, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to click subscribe below to be notified when we release our next episode. Thanks, guys.